Tariffs might sound like a smart way to protect American workers, but in reality, they can be a double-edged sword. When Donald Trump brought tariffs back into the spotlight, he promised to protect U.S. industries, punish unfair trade partners, like China, and bring jobs back home. On paper, that sounds patriotic and powerful, but dig a little deeper, and the picture becomes much more complicated. While tariffs can help certain industries in the short term, they often create more problems than they solve. And now, with talks of Trump reintroducing or expanding tariff policies if he returns to power, economists are raising serious concerns about the impact these moves could have on the U.S. economy. Let's break it down in the simplest way possible. A tariff is basically a tax on imported goods. When a company from China, for example, sends products to the U.S. government adds an extra cost, called a tariff, on top of that product. This makes the Chinese product more expensive, so American consumers might be more likely to buy a U.S.-made alternative. The idea is to boost American production and protect American jobs. Sounds logical, right? But here's the catch. The U.S. doesn't just import toys, clothes, and electronics. It also imports a lot of the raw materials and parts that American companies need to make their own products. So when you slap tariffs on those imports, it doesn't just hurt foreign companies, it hurts American ones too. They now have to pay more for the materials they rely on, and that extra cost often gets passed down to consumers. Suddenly, cars, appliances, and even groceries start costing more. Inflation ticks up. Wages don't keep pace, and everyday people end up paying the price. When Trump first imposed tariffs during his time in office, especially on China, it triggered a trade war. China responded with its own tariffs on U.S. goods. American farmers got hit hard. Soybeans, corn, and other exports to China dropped sharply. To soften the blow, the government had to spend billions in bailouts to keep farmers afloat. But no amount of bailout money can fix long-term damage to international trade relationships. Once trust is lost, it's hard to rebuild. Many businesses that rely on global supply chains found themselves stuck. A small manufacturer in Ohio, for example, might need specific parts from abroad to build its products. With tariffs in place, those parts got more expensive or harder to find. Production slowed down. Layoffs followed. In some cases, companies had to move operations overseas just to avoid the extra costs. Ironically, a policy meant to protect American jobs ended up sending more jobs out of the country. The trade war also spooked financial markets. Investors hate uncertainty, and nothing creates uncertainty like shifting trade policies. The threat of retaliation, sudden policy changes, and unpredictable tariff hikes all created anxiety on Wall Street. Stock prices swung wildly. Business investment slowed down. Companies delayed hiring, expansion, and research, all because they weren't sure what the rules of the game would be tomorrow. And let's not forget the consumer, the everyday person who's just trying to get by. Tariffs are invisible at first. You don't see them on your receipts. But over time, the prices of goods begin to rise. Maybe it's a few dollars here and there, on groceries, clothes, electronics, cars. But those small increases add up. Families start tightening their budgets. Consumer spending slows, and when people spend less, businesses earn less. That leads to more job cuts, more cautious investments, and a slower economy overall. What Trump proposes now is even more aggressive than before. He's talked about a universal tariff, possibly 10%, on nearly all imports. That would be a huge shift. Right now, the average tariff rate in the U.S. is under 2%. A jump to 10% across the board would be like taking a hammer to the entire economy. It wouldn't just affect rivals like China, it would hit allies like Canada, Japan, and the European Union. These are countries that American businesses depend on for both exports and imports. Turning trade into a battleground could alienate partners, damage alliances, and weaken America's influence in global markets. Some supporters of Trump's plan argue that the U.S. has been taken advantage of for too long. They say other countries play dirty, and that tariffs are a way to fight back. But most economists agree that broad, sweeping tariffs are not the answer. They hurt consumers, they disrupt supply chains, and they make it harder for American companies to compete globally. In a world where businesses operate across borders, building walls around trade is rarely a winning strategy. Let's talk numbers. For a second. During the Trump administration, tariffs raised over $80 billion in revenue for the U.S. government. That might sound like a lot, but in the same period, studies showed that American consumers and businesses bore the brunt of those costs. According to a report by the National Bureau of Economic Research, nearly all of that $80 billion came out of the pockets of Americans, not foreign exporters. So while the government gained some revenue, the public lost much more through higher prices. Meanwhile, economic growth slowed. Before the pandemic hit, U.S. GDP growth was already cooling off, partly due to the uncertainty caused by trade wars. In 2018, growth was 2.9%. By 2019, it dropped to 2.3%. Business investment shrank. Manufacturing fell into a recession, and global trade volumes declined. The World Bank estimated that the trade war knocked 0.3% off global GDP growth in just 1 year. For farmers and manufacturers, the pain was especially acute. Exports dropped. Farm bankruptcies rose. The Midwest, often considered Trump country, saw some of the harshest impacts of the tariffs. It's no wonder that groups like the American Farm Bureau and National Association of Manufacturers expressed serious concerns about the long-term consequences. Even among Trump supporters, opinions on tariffs are mixed. Some appreciate the tough stance and see it as a bold move to reclaim control over the economy. Others worry that the short-term benefits are outweighed by long-term costs, and they're right to be concerned. The reality is that global supply chains are here to stay. Trying to reverse globalization overnight with a blunt tool like tariffs is likely to cause more chaos than clarity. Another issue with tariff policy is that it invites retaliation. Other countries don't just sit back when the U.S. raises tariffs. They strike back. China imposed its own tariffs on American goods, targeting key sectors like agriculture, energy, and manufacturing. The European Union and Canada responded similarly, and it's not just the immediate economic effects. There's a diplomatic cost, too. Allies start seeing the U.S. as an unreliable partner. Trade deals break down. Cooperation on other global issues becomes harder. Now imagine this cycle repeating itself. If Trump returns to office and reintroduces or expands his tariff agenda, the trade war could reignite. The costs could be even higher than before. The U.S. is still recovering from inflationary shocks, global supply chain problems, and the aftershocks of the pandemic. Introducing new tariffs into this already fragile mix could push prices up again and slow economic recovery just when stability is most needed. Tariffs also create winners and losers, usually more losers than winners. Some industries might benefit, temporarily. Domestic steel and aluminum producers, for instance, may see a short-term boost. But the industries that use those materials, like car makers, construction firms, and appliance manufacturers, face higher costs. They may cut back on hiring, raise prices, or even move production overseas. It becomes a ripple effect. A policy that was supposed to help American workers ends up hurting them instead. Over time, these policies change business behavior. Companies may start shifting their supply chains to avoid tariffs, but that doesn't necessarily mean more jobs in America. It often means more automation, fewer workers, and more expensive products. And when companies automate or move abroad, those good-paying manufacturing jobs don't come back. They disappear. It's also important to recognize that tariffs can hit low-income households the hardest. Wealthier families can absorb higher prices more easily. But for families living paycheck to paycheck, even small increases in the cost of groceries, clothes, or gas can make a big difference. Tariffs act like a regressive tax, one that punishes those who can least afford it. So, what's the alternative? Economists suggest that instead of tariffs, the U.S. should focus on fair trade agreements, stronger enforcement of existing rules, and investment in domestic competitiveness. That means improving infrastructure, supporting innovation, strengthening education, and offering targeted support to industries that truly need it. Building a stronger, more competitive economy from the inside out is a much more sustainable solution than simply trying to block foreign competition. It also means working with allies instead of against them. Many of America's biggest economics challenges, like dealing with China's unfair trade practices, are best addressed through multilateral pressure, not unilateral action. A united front sends a stronger message than going it alone. And in the long run, cooperation often leads to better outcomes than confrontation. Ultimately, the U.S. economy thrives when it's open, competitive, and adaptable. Tariffs might offer a quick fix, but they're not a long-term strategy for success. They raise prices, slow growth, and damage relationships. And while they may score political points in the short term, the economic pain they cause can last for years. Trump's tariff plan might be well-intentioned, but the risks are real. If reintroduced, it could weaken the recovery, hurt consumers, and isolate the U.S. in an increasingly interconnected world. In a time when the global economy is already under strain, doubling down on tariffs could be a costly mistake. The challenge ahead isn't about choosing between America and the rest of the world. It's about finding a way to compete globally while protecting American interests at home. That means smart policy, not blunt instruments, and it means putting long-term prosperity ahead of short-term politics. The stakes are high, and decisions made now could shape the future of the U.S. economy for decades to come.